make sure those two flours are very well mixed, along with our baking powder and our salt. Let's see, CJ, have you gone back to the fridge? There's a quart container in there that has butter cut up in it and it has a B on it. That's for biscuits.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my butter cold. And you should probably do the same. If you have butter out and it's sitting out cut up, it's going to get soft. So you'll be much better off if your butter is kept cold for this particular method. Yeah, so again, I'm keeping my liquid separate. You're going to find that for a lot of recipes in the cut-in method and for the methods we use for making cakes, that you're going to find keeping your liquid separate is usually the standard. We mix all of our dry ingredients together and we mix all of our liquid ingredients together. So again, smaller pieces of butter this time. These are not quite walnut size, as you can see. They're pretty small. And they're going to make for a little different texture. You know, somewhat flaky, but not as flaky as like a pie crust. But I'm going to be doing this rolling method where we're going to roll it out and fold it over. So because of that, I'm not going to worry too much about shingling anything. It's going to all get rolled out anyway, and these pieces will flatten out when it gets rolled. So, but again, I'll do it right here on the bench. If you're doing it in a mixer, of course, it's the same thing as last time. Put it in there, let it come together, let the paddle mix together your flour and fat a little bit. Then your liquids. Just to make sure these eggs are a little more well mixed. I'm going to try to get those yolks broken before I put it in here. Now, as I said a little earlier, you could use buttermilk instead of cream. If you need to use regular milk because that's all you have in the house, I would probably add another pat of butter with milk to make up for the fat you're losing. Because in the case of cream, you have extra fat. But believe it or not, buttermilk doesn't have fat in it. Buttermilk's actually quite low fat. In fact, a lot of buttermilk today is non-fat. It's just thick because it has a bacterial culture that helps thicken it up. It's sort of like a cross between milk, yogurt, and some form of farmer's cheese. The culture is very similar to what you'd see in cheeses. So I'm going to roll well. The well method is something we use quite a bit in a lot of different styles of cooking. And we'll see it used to make pasta. Anytime you're making pasta, if you're making it from scratch, you'll probably make it this way. Yeah, you don't panic. You just sort of work with it. I still have a little more liquid here.
Oh my gosh! It's exploding. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It starts running and all of you will stand up a little straighter. And eyes will open.
It's like panic. It's like mass panic. And that's just
Only you, Sarah.
Oh, I didn't get my hands dirty.
I used to have a guy I worked with. There was a guy I worked with. If he saw that kind of thing, he really becomes very vocal, and he would start to scream. And not just a little bit. I mean, he'd really get loud, you know. And he would just really get him. His nerves would just go into overdrive. And a lot of people would be shocked by it. I got to know him and I'd laugh because I knew he was, you know, overreacting. We were watching some safety video one time and some guy was in a situation, we were talking about, was it hazmat and MSDS. So you have to be careful of, you know, different chemicals and things like that. And it showed some, you know, video of a guy who's reaching up to a high shelf, of course, trying to pull down a bottle of acid. And it starts to spill, right? And all of a sudden my friend's like, and it starts to lose it. I was laughing.
no horror movies for him, huh?
He's not able to handle it, I don't think. He's a fun guy to work with.
Yeah. They're making
It's coming up soon.
Paranormal activity too. It's all 3D.
Which one was retarded?
Right.
No.
Why did they come out with that like a long time ago?
This is great.
They come out with a new one every Halloween.
I haven't seen any of the other ones.
There's some great scary movies coming out right now.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited.
This is the season.
And some of them actually look pretty good.
Watch the movies.
I'm gonna tape your eyelids open and make you watch them.
Last one I watched was Orphan, and I went, like when she went to like run out of the screen or whatever, I seriously started like I fell from the floor and just curled up in like a little bitty like fetal position and started rocking. It was awful.
I got it for going to
I was in a house in the Marion, in the Boondocks Marion, like with 5 girls, and it's like no light. So we were dog barking in the background. I was about ready for this fight. I know. Go home.
Dexter somewhere.
There's a bunch of people around.
They're cheesy. They last forever.
Alright, so back to the ranch. What I'm doing here is I've taken my mixture, I've just pressed it together into a dough. There's still big chunks of butter in there. And all I'm going to do is just flatten it out a little bit. We're going to bring this out in 30 minutes to roll it out. The recipe mentions to go and let it rest. That's okay, because it needs to rest a little bit. What that's going to do is it's going to cause like I mentioned in my illustration last time, where it goes down but it also travels sideways. It's going to help this whole batch kind of hydrate more and be just more completely hydrated. Let the cream and the moisture from that and the eggs get everywhere. In the meantime, the scones are going to sit in the fridge, and they're going to sit for 45 minutes, and we're going to bring them out and cut them in a little while. So these are all just going to go in the chill. And when we go to roll this out, I'll probably call your attention to the screen. We're just going to roll this out. I'm going to roll it out to about 16 by 10 inches, a little bit bigger than the sheet pan. And then I'm just going to fold it over in thirds and roll it out to a reasonable size. They mentioned here going out to about, is it biscuits? They mentioned going out to about 16 by 10 again, cut into 8 squares, and then apply egg wash once every 5 minutes, and do that again. So basically, very similar to the scones method, but this is a drier product. As you can see, the dough is definitely less sticky, and it's going to be a little bit different to work with. Have any of you ever made biscuits like this before? No? It's a little different. Yeah, it's a little different than my grandmother's biscuits, which are just basically milk, flour, salt, baking powder, and shortening is what she used. Really basic.
With the use of rising flour, safflower oil, and milk.
Yeah. Sometimes it's very simple, and this is a little more, just a little more involved. As you remember from our recipe, this is just basically flour. We use 2 types of flour, which basically makes all-purpose flour, salt, baking powder, and we have the addition of butter and eggs and cream. So we're making it a little rich, a little more rich than the average person. It's also a little more expensive to make them this way, but they're going to be really wonderful all the same. So I will see you guys in a little while. Good stewards of your